What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we have F1 2016 Mobile Career Mode, episode number 21, today for the Austrian Grand Prix in Season 2. If you missed the last episode in Baku, then you must be living under a rock, because it was uploaded, I think, about a week ago now. But yeah, again, don't worry, over the Christmas holidays, hopefully I will aim to be back for a one video every 2 days upload schedule, because that worked well before. I've just had a lot on my plate at the moment, and obviously, judging by the footage that I'm showing you from the last race in Baku, it was a pretty hectic one, so I'd really advise you go and check that out if you haven't seen it already. Anyway, today we have the Red Bull Ring, which of course is Red Bull's home race. We lead the championship by 17 points after Azerbaijan, so hopefully we can continue our momentum into today's Grand Prix. Let's get it.
Welcome to the Austrian Grand Prix here in Spielberg. It's race day and the cars are already on the grid as the drivers complete their final preparations ahead of lights out.
Well, another fantastic qualifying session for us sees me equal my best qualifying of the season so far of P2, which we of course last achieved in China. We're sandwiching the two Mercedes and my teammate Ricardo in P6. Race strategy for today is going to be a one-stop ultra soft tyres onto the soft tyres. And now let's get into round 7 of 15. We're getting towards the middle of the season now as we rev up to 5 red lights for the Austrian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go, and it's a great start compared to Nico Rosberg. We're going to be side by side with the German going into turn 1. Later on the brakes, we're going to send it to the inside. Hang Nico out to dry on the outside line. And there we go, we are up into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. But look at the left wing mirror, Rosberg's coming back at me as we skink through turn 2. Up towards turn 3, up the hill we go. Rosberg is still there behind me. He tried to have a look there down the inside, but in the end I cut him off and said no thank you. Anyway, that's been the dream start for us, and at the moment we are on hand to extend our championship lead. Hamilton and Rosberg, of course, are pretty closely separated, unlike this time last season where Hamilton obviously won something like 9 races in a row, or 9 races out of the first 10 to secure the championship by Monza, which was 2/3 of the way through the season. We are not going to be seeing that this year, because as it stands we are leading, and also I think it's going to be quite a good battle between the two Mercedes this year. It's a very short lap at the Red Bull Ring, of course. Distance wise it's the second shortest lap of the calendar after Monaco, but lap time it is the fastest lap of the season I think that we're going to be doing. Across the line, there you go, we're 1:11. That includes the bit off the start, as we're now all the way onto lap number 6 again. The tyres are going off 8/10 off my personal best just in the first sector, and look at the mini-map in the top centre. It is just myself and the two Mercedes. We are in a league of our own, and you can see I'm still having to try and defend from them. Rosberg's still leading ahead of Lewis Hamilton, but at the moment it doesn't look like either of them is going to be able to get a move on. But the first few laps was just me again, just leading the Grand Prix, and now we get to the end of the lap. There goes Nico Rosberg into turn 1. Rosberg's going to have a look. He's got the overwhelming straight line speed. He brakes suddenly. I have to bail out of that, otherwise I'm running straight into the back of the German, and that's putting Lewis Hamilton all over my gearbox. You can see in the wing mirrors he's trying to have a look at me. Meanwhile, I might have the overwhelming straight line speed just on this straight, tucked in the slipstream of his teammate. Up to turn 3, I've gone a little bit wide because the tyre wear kicking in now like crazy. DRS wide open on Nico Rosberg. The AI twitching about on this straight, I don't know why, but it looks as if the German is going to keep the place for now. I tried to have a bit of a half look there just to make sure that Nico knew that I was still there, and now we are going to keep the place as we head down towards the pit lane, and I'm going to definitely dive into the pit lane this lap. I've gone wide there, the tyre wear kicking in. Hamilton comes through me, bit of contact made there with the Briton. This is allowing Rosberg to build out a lead, and this is what I I don't want, because I want to make sure I extend my championship lead before we get to some of the tracks with the AI are stronger. But here comes Lewis Hamilton again down the inside into turn 9. We're going to let him have that because we are coming into the pit lane to fit our one and only pit stop, hopefully, of this race. We're going to go onto the soft tyres so we can make it to the end of the Austrian Grand Prix. Into the pit lane we come. We don't have any damage, so hopefully the boys can deliver us a good pit stop. 2.3, just like in real life. The Red Bull pit crew doing their job well when called upon. And on exiting the pit lane again, this stupid pit takeover glitch which slows you down is getting in the way. So I think if I'd have been controlling that, we might have been ahead of Kevin Magnussen, who's up the road there. Anyway, it's not the end of the world. We come out of the pit lane in P6 and in clean air, and there goes Magnussen kicking up a whole load of dust. We've got the overwhelming gaining speed there through the corner. I'm going to go late on the brakes, and we're going to dive down the inside there at the end of the middle sector, and that was a very neat little move there to get us back into the top 5, and we've made a pit stop, so it looks highly unlikely we're barring an absolute catastrophe. We're going to finish outside the top 5 today as I get a wash of understeer through the final corner there. That is honestly one of my favourite corners in an entire F1 game. It's just so fun to take. And now we've got more cars in the pit lane here. I believe some of them might be lap cars. Anyway, we're into P3 now. This is Lewis Hamilton on the pit exit. Hamilton coming across the racing line, a dip a tyre on the grass. But in the end, we had to do that, otherwise we're crashing into the Mercedes. And that is the difference between the undercut and the overcut. Rosberg 28 seconds down the road, so he has not made his pit stop yet. So me and Hamilton both going for the undercut strategy, and now going on to start lap number 10 now. Rosberg is indeed into the pit lane, and it looks as if he has exited the pit lane ahead of us. There he is on the minimap. So Rosberg is ahead of me, which is really not ideal. It looks as if he somehow managed to keep the lead that he had, or maybe even extend it somewhat by the looks of things there as we're heading up into turn 3. The gap 1.9 seconds, so it looks as if he's gained about 7/10. But now heading down the back straight, Rosberg weaving as he does, as the AI seem to do. We're going to gain a whole heap of time. I seem to have dropped Lewis Hamilton now, which is fantastic, because now if myself and Nico can just fight out for this win, that would be much better for me, that I only have one less Mercedes to worry about. Through the middle sector though, we're still trying to follow the Mercedes, stay close if we possibly can. We're on the same tyre strategy. Rosberg cuts across me there. I tried to send it down the inside. There's more contact made. We're really going wheel to wheel with the Mercedes today. We've made contact with both of them, and this really is elbows out for this championship. Can we start to dream of the championship though? We're keeping pace with the Mercedes. Absolutely nail it through there, the final couple of corners. We're going to get DRS down the pit straight. This is the closest we've been. We're going to pull out the slipstream 0.084 across the line. Later on the brakes into turn 1. There we go. We've got the move. Rosberg tries to come back at me. In the end, I take a wider line to stop him from switching back. And that is up into P1 of the Austrian Grand Prix once again. Wow, this is some fantastic racing between myself and the Mercedes. Now moving on to lap number 13. And I've actually got the overwhelming pace on both of them as we're now starting to navigate some lap traffic. I've put 3 seconds between myself and Rosberg, which is highly surprising because I hadn't anticipated that my pace might be better on the soft tyre than the Mercedes. But their line, of course, broken blue flags. I have to really snap across the German there, as this is the first car I've lapped in this Grand Prix. So obviously, talking about the Mercedes, we're getting to stage round 7 of 15. This is in the championship, so we're really getting an idea of who's in the title fight. And this year it's myself, Hamilton and Rosberg. The rear end really snapping out there. 4.1 seconds though, the gap between myself and the German behind. And moving on to lap number 15, we've got the lap car of Kevin Magnussen, who's now hopefully going to safely get out of the way. Yes, he is. I unfortunately go a little bit wide there through turn 3. However, I'm going to get DRS off the Renault, so thanks for that, Kevin. And now we're going to head down towards turn 4. We're still bridging the gap between the Mercedes, but as I was saying, it's a 3-way fight for the championship this year. We're almost halfway through the season, so things are really starting to get interesting between myself, Hamilton and Rosberg. And it's going to be absolutely crucial to pick up as many points as we possibly can from each of these races. Here comes Sainz out of the pit lane though, another lap car. We're going to nicely navigate him, and at this stage we've only got 3 laps left of the Grand Prix, so it looks as if we might be able to get our 3rd win of the season in just 7 races. So far we are the only repeat winner this season, because of course the other winners are Ricciardo, Rosberg and Hamilton. I think that's right. I could be wrong anyway. We're catching up to Grosjean there, who suddenly seems to brake really early and then is refusing to get out of the way. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to pull the over-aggressive antics here to get past the lap car. It shouldn't be necessary, but there we go, we squeezed through. Oh, this is so much to talk about in this race, about the championship, about what's actually going on track. It's just, we're at a very interesting part of the season now, and we are actually starting to believe that maybe the championship is possible this season. Anyway, we've got a lap and a half to go now. This is Rio Haryanto, the Indonesian there in the manor. Doesn't put up any fight to me, which is nice to see. That doesn't often happen, so I'll appreciate that while it does happen. But as I was saying, the tyre wear is also starting to kick in now at the end of this second stint. The soft tyre is supposed to go for 11 laps around this circuit, and it's been 9 laps at the end of this lap since I've fitted them on. So, unsurprisingly, they're going off a bit, and that there shows it as we go wide through turn 10. And for some reason, the Manor is going to try and re-overtake me as I'm looking at the wing mirrors there. I'm really squeezing him like hell into the pit wall, because I don't understand why they continue to do that. Well, I know by now it's because blue flags are broken. But by the end of the lap, this is going to be it. We've got the Dutch fans. This is the closest race they can come to. There's going to be the orange mist like we saw in Zandvoort in real life. And we're going to win our 3rd race of the season. The tyres have absolutely had it. Into the final corner. 3 race wins from 7 races. And Max Verstappen wins the Austrian Grand Prix in 2016. And boy, is that a huge statement made in terms of the championship. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We beat Rosberg by 4.9 seconds in the end to claim another W this season. My teammate Ricardo only P8, which is a shame because I feel like we really had the pace in the car this weekend. But either way, that is hugely significant. And in the championship, we now lead by 27 points. Meaning that if Hamilton wins at Silverstone and I don't score, we can still lead the championship. We are really making our mark in this season, and that is something which I never quite thought I'd say so early on in the season, but it's fantastic to see nevertheless. It's really good to see that, you know, we're driving so well and, you know, everything's coming together. Silverstone will be a very tough race, so I'm not expecting to win there at all, but in the constructors we're also piling the pressure on Mercedes still and keeping them on their toes, which is also great to see. And also, Ferrari have now leapfrogged Force India for 3rd place. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. Please be sure to like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Let's see if we can get to 400 subscribers by the end of the year. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and join my Discord server. Both links are in the description below. And I'll see you guys all next time for my home race at Silverstone. Goodbye.